between the LaSalle Explorers and the Fordham Rams. And we are underway here at Tom Gola Arena. Again, I'm Corey Cohen with you for the broadcast on this wintry Saturday afternoon. It's a bit snowy outside. Beautiful day to stay in and watch some basketball. Starting lineups first for the visiting Fordham Rams, wearing maroon on the road. Number 1, Matilda Flood. Number 3, Taylor Donaldson. Number 8, Amy Hayford. Number 10, Rose Nelson. And number 11, Mandy McGurk. Starters for the home Explorers, wearing white. Number 3, Emily Tejada, starting at center. Number 10, Nicole Melius. Number 12, Molly Masciantonio, the point guard. Number 13, Michaela Miller. And number 32, Jolene Armandaris. So the Rams on the road here, again wearing the maroon uniforms. Kick out to Matilda Flood off the rim. Brought up by Molly Masciantonio. Just set her Division I career high on Tuesday night against Davidson. 17 points. That's the most she had in D1. She spent her freshman year playing at Holy Family. Set a career high there with 25 points, but in D1, 17 is her new career high. She was one of the few standouts in that loss to Davidson on Tuesday. 69-50 was the final score. So Fordham with the ball. Ball with the point guard, Mandy McGurk. A step through, and the first bucket of the game, nearly a minute and a half into it, from Amy Hayford, the graduate transfer from the University of Pittsburgh. Originally from the Netherlands, spent 4 years at Pitt, played 108 games for Pitt, averaging just under 4 points per game. But she's really found her rhythm here at Fordham. There's the first bucket of the game for LaSalle, Michaela Miller. Had a really breakout third quarter on Tuesday against Davidson. There's traveling called against Matilda Flood. Flood, a senior from New South Wales, Australia, averages about 6 points, 6 rebounds per game. In the most recent game against St. Bonaventure on Wednesday, they got a 65-57 victory, helped by Matilda Flood, who went 3 for 3 from three-point range. And off to Melius. Sharp-shooting freshman from Staten Island, playing against her hometown team. Poked away. Picked up by Davis. And the layup for Amy Hayford. Taya Davis into the game, junior from Decatur, Illinois. There's a jumper from Masciantonio. She is getting more and more comfortable as a shooter as this season goes on. She is a pass-first point guard, has been her whole career. Nice pass inside, but a poor finish from Flood. Masciantonio knows she needs to step up as a shooter this season, and she's done so. Almost 9 points per game after last season, leading the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. 3 minutes in. Armandaris. Little give and go. Tried to get it to Masciantonio, who was open. Tejada. Out to Armandaris. Shot clock down to 4. Tejada, the big. She's got to put it up, and it's a shot clock violation. Substitution for Fordham. Aminata Lee comes in, redshirt senior from Dakar, Senegal. She was injured following November 20th. Made her first return to the court this past Wednesday, played 10 minutes. And it looks like she may be getting more as she ramps up production following that injury. 6'4" center, transferred from Cleveland State. Pass outside, here's a three from Donaldson off the back iron. And a foul called against Fordham. That's on Rose Nelson, the sophomore from New South Wales, Australia. So 4-4 early on here. Masciantonio to Armandaris. Here's a three from way outside. Melius nearly got it off the backboard. She can hit from absolutely anywhere. Again, playing against a school from her home city of New York. Fordham in the Bronx. She's from Staten Island. Here's MASCIANTONIO from down. And that'll be Fordham basketball. Nicole Melius, the all-time leading scorer in the history of New York City basketball. High school, boys or girls. She had 3,140 points in high school. Again, more than anyone in the history of an incredible basketball city, New York. Also set the single-season points record with 1,137 in one season. Hayford on the ball. Drive down the baseline. Nelson counted and one.
Count the bucket. Fouls on 3. Emily Tejada, her first.
That's a foul on Tejada. Tejada got hurt similarly to Fordham center. Tejada got hurt on November 21st. She made her return to action on December 21st. So a full month out for Tejada, but she's working her way back now. Here's MASCIANTONIO. Graduate student from Morton, PA. And a foul called on Taya Davis.
Fouls on 4. Taya Davis, her first, team second.
Meanwhile, still no substitution for LaSalle. Fordham keeps making substitutions. Flood comes in for her fellow countrywoman, Rose Nelson, both from New South Wales, Australia. LaSalle center Emily Tejada from Springfield, Australia. Here's Michaela Miller, point guard, different style than MASCIANTONIO. She loves to drive to the rim, stolen away by Fordham. Moving quickly, Flood down court, can she settle? No, rebound Tejada. Fordham is best in the Atlantic 10 in steals. They lead the way with 11 steals per game. Here's Nicole Melius from way outside. Melius with her first 3 ball of the game. Melius averaging 10 points per game. She shoots 35% from three-point range, and most of those are from way beyond the arc. About as far as Staten Island is from the Bronx. Stolen away, MASCIANTONIO on a breakaway. 2 Fordham defenders trailing. Double clutch, no foul, gets her own rebound. Tejada picks it up. LaSalle can slow this down. Michaela Miller driving, pass outside to MASCIANTONIO, drills it from the corner. 10-6 lead for LaSalle. That is a phenomenal showing of what these 2 point guards can do. Michaela Miller driving to the rim, kick out to an open MASCIANTONIO, whose shooting game has taken a huge step forward. Pass inside, Lee, out to Davis. Shot clock down to 5. Hayford on the ball. Finds an open Davis. Short. Ball is loose. MASCIANTONIO has it. Wants to move quickly in transition. Finds Melius. Right back to MASCIANTONIO. Gets fouled and one. Huge start for this LaSalle offense. 12-6 lead and a chance to make it 13, as that brings us to our first media timeout of the ball game. The Explorers, looking for their first A-10 win of the season, lead the Fordham Rams 12-6. We'll be back in just a moment on ESPN+. ESPN+, as that's back in action here in the first quarter. MASCIANTONIO makes it a 3-point play. 13-6 is the lead for LaSalle. I'm Corey Cohen with you live on ESPN+. As that's knocked out of bounds, it'll stay with the Rams. Pass inside, and the finish. Miranda Nyborg into the game for the first time. Senior from Bethel, Connecticut. Missed all last year due to injury. Miller is trapped and taken away by Fordham. You can see how they're the #1 team in the A-10 in steals. The drive, nice pass, and the finish from Nyborg. Great assist from Taya Davis, who is 6th in the Atlantic 10 in assists per game. And a timeout called by Mountain McGillivray. They did not want that ball stolen yet again after this pressure from this Fordham defense. We'll keep it here. 2:28 in the first quarter. This Fordham team comes in coming off a win against St. Bonaventure on Wednesday, 65-57. That snapped a 6-game losing streak that Fordham was on. Meanwhile, LaSalle comes into this one on an 8-game losing streak. They started the season 3-2, but it's been a rough go of it. Their last single-digit loss was against Penn on November 29th, so these games have not even been very close. Their last win was on November 21st. So back in action now. Rose Nelson back in for Fordham. Masciantonio, still no substitutions yet for LaSalle, even though they've got a deep squad. Tejada, stolen away, picked off by Taya Davis. Down court, Davis with the layup. Huge play for Taya Davis. Again, this Fordham team averages 11 steals per game. And you can see why. Here's Armendariz off the back iron. Rebound for the point guard. Davis brings it up. Caught traveling. So LaSalle gets it back as this game is cut to a 1-point margin. Hayford comes back in for Fordham. First substitution of the day for LaSalle. Tierra Bolden will enter, the transfer from Eastern Arizona. Bolden brings it up. It's interesting, Masciantonio not one of the two in the backcourt bringing the ball forward. Miller has it, lost her dribble, finds Bolden. Melius, excuse me, great play inside from Nicole Melius. Nice shot, poked away, offensive board for the Rams. Fresh 20 seconds. Floater, no, second chance, that'll fall for Rose Nelson. Stolen away yet again, and this will be easy for Taylor Donaldson. And Donaldson gets her first points of the ball game. She's also first in the A-10, not just in points, but in steals. So that's kept in play by Bolden. Donaldson averages 2.8 steals per game. That is most in the conference. She is such a threat on the offensive and defensive ends. About 5 seconds separates shot and game clock. Tejada in the paint. Gets bumped, no foul called. Now a foul call. Might have been a bit of a makeup call. Second foul on Amy Hayford. We'll see Kayla Harris come in for the first time tonight. Grad transfer from Seton Hall. There's a shot drilled by Tierra Bolden. 2 seconds left, heaved up at half court. Well off the mark. So at the end of the first quarter, LaSalle retakes the lead, 17-16 over Fordham. It's an exciting ball game. Back with the second quarter. In the patented deep post up, gets fouled and will head to the line. Meanwhile, these two universities not just facing each other in women's basketball, also men's basketball. That game tipped off earlier today and just finished. LaSalle got the victory over Fordham, 81-76 the final score. So congratulations to the men's basketball team for LaSalle, improving to 10-5 on the season. And a successful trip to the line for MASCIANTONIO. The Explorers here in Philly, hoping to make it a double victory for LaSalle Hoops. Bolden, nice rebound. Miller. Little iso ball, looks to drive, pass, lots of contact. Moving quickly, here's Melius, top of the arc off the rim. Fordham ball. Nyborg in for Harris. So brought up by Davis. 6th in the A-10 in steals per game with 3.5. Underneath, now Nelson in the paint. Back to Davis. Double clutch, and a foul will send Nyborg to the line.
Foul's on 13 to Kayla Miller, her first.
Foul on Miller. So Nyborg to the line. Already has 4 points. Her season average is 6 per game. She missed all of last season with an injury. As she makes the first. Nyborg misses the second. Offensive rebound, Nelson. Fresh 20 seconds for Fordham. Donaldson. Davis, pass inside, triple teamed. Nyborg somehow gets out of it. Moving it around, here's a three from McGurk, who drills it. Mandy McGurk, the grad transfer from Penn, playing back in the city she spent so many games in. And near her hometown, she's from Westchester, Pennsylvania, I should say, for any viewers from New York. We've got our own Westchester in Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, as that's turned over. McGurk from Westchester, PA, went to high school in Radnor on the main line outside of Philly. Was first team All-Delco. Stayed home to play for Penn in the Philly area. And as a grad transfer, went just a little bit north to play for Fordham in the Bronx, but playing back in her home area on this Saturday afternoon. There's a three from Taylor Donaldson. She makes over 35% from outside, and she's up to 5 points. Donaldson, a phenomenal player, as Fordham leads 23-19. We've got a 23-19, folks. Bolden looking for the backdoor cut from Melius. Shot clock down to 7. Armendariz loses it. It's another steal for Fordham. That is their 6th steal of the game early in the second quarter. And LaSalle will take over. So MASCIANTONIO bringing it up. Fordham leading 23-19. Again, that was a reference from Monsters, Inc. for anyone who missed it or thought I was losing my mind. Michaela Miller out to Bolden. Miller. Here's a three from Bolden, short. Rebound by Davis. Point guard has 2 rebounds now off the rim. Knocked away. It'll stay with the Rams. Tejada comes back in for Miller. Been a shorter rotation so far for LaSalle. Gabby Turco, who averages just over 7 points per game, is out. She is not dressed today. Eris Maktoon is still out. She's been out since November 15th. The other players are dressed, but we have not seen appearances yet from Fiona Connolly, Amber Bullard, Emma Egan, Laya Monclava, Haley Childs, or Julie Jaycott. This has been the core 5 players plus Miller on the bench right now. And 6 players getting all the minutes so far. Still 23-19. Nice little give and go. Foul will send Masciantonio to the line. Molly Masciantonio, who recently set a D1 career high, also recently reached a significant milestone, 1,000 career points. She achieved that milestone against Villanova a couple of weeks ago. Huge moment for her, and since then, her scoring has really taken off. 17 points against Davidson on Tuesday, and already 12 points against Fordham today. Starting to look like LaSalle legend Jennifer Cole when it comes to scoring. Again, she has been a pass-first point guard her entire career. Taking a big step up in scoring, especially these last few weeks. Out of bounds, it'll stay with the Rams. Inbound here from McGurk. Had 63 games at Penn, 46 of them were starts. Now averages 8.5 points per game for Fordham as a grad transfer. In the paint, Ford, nice pass to find Lee, and the finish from Aminata Lee. Miller gets past half court. 25-21 lead for Fordham. Drive from Miller, kick out, Bolden. Masciantonio is open for a moment. Nice work by Davis to recover on defense. Shot clock down to 7. It's a 3, air ball. Corralled yet again by Taya Davis. 3rd rebound for the point guard, who averages 3.5 per game, and there's a bucket from Taya Davis. An excellent performance from the junior out of Decatur, Illinois. Tejada with some space. Bolden knocked away. It'll stay with the Explorers. That brings us to immediate timeout. Fordham leading 27-21. They're on an 11-2 run.
And in a couple months, you're going to have the right.
But they've got the ball coming out of this media timeout. Armendaris to inbound. Again, I'm Corey Cohen with you live on ESPN Plus here in Philadelphia. Tejada from the elbow finds Miller. Out to Tejada. She takes the 3 and buries it. Tejada averages just under 4 points per game, but she's got 3 right there. Pass to Lee. Made her return from injury on Wednesday. Aaron pass. LaSalle will take over. Brought up by the Explorers. Played a competitive game on Wednesday against Davidson. Nice backdoor cut, Bolden. Nice defense. On the ground with Lee. Bolden has it. Bolden puts it up. And Fordham comes down with it. A little bit messy there. No points scored. Rams with the ball. Pass inside to Lee, knocked away. And it was great defense from Armendaris, as Lee's defender Tejada was the last one to get back on defense after taking a spill. And MASCIANTONIO will now come in for Bolden. McGurk. Baseline inbound. Stolen away by MASCIANTONIO. Picked her pocket clean. MASCIANTONIO. Tejada. And they'll reset. 27-24 Fordham. MASCIANTONIO, 6th in the Atlantic 10 in assist-to-turnover ratio. Give and go. Works flawlessly in the bucket for MASCIANTONIO. The pick and roll. MASCIANTONIO and Tejada, and Molly MASCIANTONIO already up to 14 points. Her D1 career high is 17, which she just set earlier this week. Stolen away by Armendariz. Down court, MASCIANTONIO does a phenomenal job holding on to the ball. Tejada, can she stay hot? In and out. It's a 1-point ball game. McGurk, top of the arc. There's a 3 off the back iron. Corralled by Armendariz. And Miller will slow things down. Little over 2 minutes left before the halftime break. Armendariz back to the basket. Melius from way outside. She's open. She can hit from out there. It's short. Rebound Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson passes to her left. Kept alive. Tejada comes away with it. Under 2 minutes left now. LaSalle on a 5-0 run. They trail by just 1 single point. Miller. Armendariz, Tejada. Miller will reset. 9 on the shot clock. She loves ISO. She loves to drive. Michaela Miller blocked. It'll stay with LaSalle. 5 on the shot clock. Bolden comes in for LaSalle. Davis and Nyborg in for Fordham. Baseline inbound coming from MASCIANTONIO. A foul called against Fordham, and that's on Rose Nelson. Her second foul. Another inbound coming. Bolden takes a quick jumper. Rebounded by Nyborg. Davis out to Donaldson. Driving. And a foul called. Or excuse me, just out of bounds. Either way, stays with Fordham. Donaldson with 5 points so far in this game. 2 steals. Foul called, and that will send Rose Nelson to the line. Rose Nelson's season average is 2.7 points per game. She's already up to 4. She can make it 6 here. First substitution of the game for Fiona Connolly, who comes in as Michaela Miller picks up her second foul and will sit on the bench for the remainder of this half. Connolly, the sophomore from South Burlington, Vermont. First free throw misses from Nelson. Second misses as well, an empty trip to the line. The Rams shoot just under 66% from the free throw line this season. LaSalle shoots just under 64%. Here's a 3, missed. Tejada has the rebound, looks for Melius. It'll stay with LaSalle. Kayla Berry comes in for Fordham. Has not played since December 21st. But she returns in, the sophomore from Brooklyn. MASCIANTONIO. Under a minute left in this first half. Foul called. That's against Berry. That was the 4th team foul. So the next one will put LaSalle at the free throw line in the bonus. And now McGurk comes in for Barry.
Back in for the Rams.
Masciantonio to Bolden. Off a screen, out to Tejada, little pick and pop. Short, rebounded by Nyborg. About 3 seconds separate the shot and game clocks. Fordham will look to hold for the final shot of this second quarter. Pass inside, count it, and 1 for Miranda Nyborg. She is up to 7 points and a chance to make it 8. She averages 6 per game. So Nyborg at the line. This team has had so much to rebuild as she makes it a 2-possession ball game. This team last year went 19-13, 10-6 in the conference. They made the WNIT, made the second round after beating Drexel in the first round. They lost to Columbia in round 2. Here's Melius, drills it from outside. It's a 1-point game. 2 seconds left in the half. Traveling called with 0.9 on the clock. And LaSalle, they don't have to inbound from the baseline, so maybe a chance here, but it looks like they won't even take it. So at the half, it is 30-29, a 1-point game between Fordham and LaSalle. Really exciting contest here. LaSalle, in their 2 A-10 games this year, played 2 of the best teams in the conference, George Mason and Davidson. They haven't been particularly close. But against Fordham, this is an exciting ball game. 30-29 the score here at the half. We will take about a 15-minute break. Back with the second half of action in a few minutes. Stay with us. You're watching Atlantic 10 basketball on ESPN+.
$1 health insurance and
100%. Experience the power of physical therapy at NovaCare.
You a car, and in a couple months you're going to have
Philadelphia in this Atlantic 10 matchup between the Fordham Rams and the LaSalle Explorers. Fordham leading LaSalle 30-29 at the half as we take a look at stats from the first half of action. You see Fordham shooting more effectively, over 48% from the field. LaSalle still a solid 37%. The three-pointers have not been falling for Fordham, just 20% from outside. The Rams certainly out-rebounding the Explorers, 17-11. But they've turned the ball over for as many steals as Fordham has. And they do have 6 steals. LaSalle has 7. And again, Fordham is the #1 team in the conference when it comes to steals. They are being outstolen and out-turned over in this contest against LaSalle. And so it's led to an interesting game. 30-29 Fordham lead. This team with a lot of turnover after the squad that made it to the second round of the WNIT last year. They've got a first-year head coach in Bridget Mitchell, former head coach at Northeastern, the reigning CAA Coach of the Year, and a native of Trenton, New Jersey. Shot clock wasn't moving, so they'll have to reset that. Last year they were led by interim head coach Candace Green. And Mitchell, in her first year, had to retool the roster. They lost Asia Dingle, who averaged over 19 points per game. They lost Anna DeWolf, who averaged over 18 points per game and was 3-time first-team All-Atlantic 10, as well as the 3rd most points in the history of the program. She transferred to Notre Dame for her final year. They also lost Caitlin Downey, who averaged over 10 points per game and almost 8 rebounds per game. 2 of them to graduation, DeWolf to transfer. And so without them, they've had to retool this squad. Here's Melius. Missed. Certainly on the scoring front, losing Dingle and DeWolf is brutal. Best scoring tandem in the conference. They still average about 64.5 points per game. LaSalle averages 60 points per game. Melius thought about it, creates some space for herself, and she drills it. Melius up to 11 points. Flood drives and stolen away by MASCIANTONIO. It is her third steal of the game. Down court to Miller. Out to Armendariz. Extra pass, MASCIANTONIO. She does it again. Molly MASCIANTONIO has now tied her Division I career high of 17 points. She's done it twice in a week. 17 points against Davidson on Tuesday. 17 points here today, and the third quarter just started. She could go for her all-time career high, which is 25 against Bloomsburg in Division II. There's Rose Nelson with a bucket. Cuts this back to a one-point game. Stolen away by Rose Nelson. McGurk. Little spin from Donaldson. Late foul call. I think it was a good foul call, but the whistle was blown late. Foul on Tejada. That's her second. They can't really afford to get into foul trouble if they don't plan to play Bullard or Childs, which they have not yet. Tejada's the only real big out there. All the others are guards. It's been 6 players getting almost entirely all the action today. There's been 1 minute from Fiona Connolly. Besides that, it's been 6 players. Again, 5 of them guards. And then Tejada at the 5. Bolden brings it up. Junior originally from Eugene, Oregon. MASCIANTONIO finds Bolden, has some space, makes the shot. It's a long 2. Brings us to 37-35 LaSalle lead. Moving it around. Here's Amy Hayford. Kicks it out. 3 taken and drilled by Taylor Donaldson. The senior transfer from New Mexico State, who has been a revelation for Fordham. At New Mexico State, the Aggies, she averaged 7.5 points per game. At Fordham, this year, she's averaging just under 19 points per game. That is most in the Atlantic 10. Offensive rebound for Bolden. Held ball will stay with LaSalle.
Possession remains with LaSalle.
I think a lot of people might have guessed that Donaldson would put up similar numbers between New Mexico State and Fordham. But she has taken a massive step up. I don't know if it's switching from green chili in New Mexico to pizza and bagels in New York, but something has been working for Taylor Donaldson after that transfer, 3 years at New Mexico State, now with Fordham. That foul on Nyborg. Davis will come in. Had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals in the first half. MASCIANTONIO cross court, little high for Melius. Dribble handoff, out of bounds, nearly a steal for Fordham. Shot clock is at 7. Inbound to Miller. Takes a jumper from the elbow, too strong. Another rebound for 5'7" Taya Davis. Stolen away by Miller. Yet another steal for LaSalle. That is their 9th for a team that averages just over 8 steals per game. MASCIANTONIO. Off a screen, keeps going, kicks it out to Miller. Doesn't take too many from 3! Drills it from downtown. And LaSalle retakes the lead, 40-38. Underneath, Donaldson, foul called on LaSalle.
Foul number 3, Emily Tejada, her third, team second.
So baseline inbound coming from the Rams. And stolen away, lazy pass there from Amy Hayford. Bolden, somehow no foul called. Miller gets the offensive rebound. And they can reset. I'm surprised that was not a foul on that attempt from Bolden. Melius looking to create space. Little give and go. Tejada underneath. Finds Miller. Looks to drive. Now Tejada. Got it off in time. It was off the mark. Still a 2-point lead for LaSalle. Drive. Hayford gets it off the glass. Amy Hayford, the grad transfer from Pitt, played 108 games for the Panthers, averaged under 4 points per game. With Fordham, she's averaging over 11 points per game. And she is 3rd in the A-10 in steals. So big step up for her. There's a jumper from Tejada. And Hayford's move from Oakland to the Bronx. Davis. Donaldson off the rim, rebound Bolden. They're getting incredible minutes from Bolden. Again, they are without Gabby Turco, who normally has a similar role to Bolden. That rolled off the rim from Melius. She already has 11 points. Here's a corner 3 off the rim. Tejada comes down with it. Her 5th rebound. She's got 5 and 5. Three and a half minutes left in this third quarter. Both offenses have slowed down just a little bit. Bolden with some space, it's short. And Fordham will just let that go out of bounds. That will bring us to immediate timeout. 3:17 left in this third quarter. LaSalle leading Fordham 42-40. It is an exciting game. Stay with us, folks. You're watching A-10 basketball. Of her entire career. She's already now tied a career high in scoring in Division I. Nice play there to find Nyborg. By the way, that's a career high she set earlier this week against Davidson on Tuesday night with 17 points. Has 17 already and is actually up to 6 assists with no turnovers. Again, she was last year's NCAA leader in assist-to-turnover ratio. There's a foul. Will send Armendariz to the line. This year, MASCIANTONIO is more of a scorer. Has taken a slight step back in that category. She is 6th in the Atlantic 10 in assist-to-turnover ratio.
Armendariz to the line, shooting 3.
But playing like this, she is going to head up the charts, not just in that category, but in scoring as well. As the first is good. Already 8.7 points per game for MASCIANTONIO before this afternoon. Misses the second. Armendariz, grad transfer from San Francisco State. Has had a tough last 2 games, 6 points combined in the last 2 contests against George Mason and Davidson. Has 2 points here today. Davis Fordham moving pretty quickly. Here's McGurk. Hayford. McGurk. Bounce pass. And that'll stay with Fordham.
Fordham ball.
Davis. The drive. Travel called against Taya Davis.
Violation. LaSalle ball.
And that is the 6th turnover of the game against Davis. 6 turnovers, 3 assists. MASCIANTONIO has 0 turnovers, 6 assists in the battle of point guards. MASCIANTONIO absolutely wide open. Misses the 3. Offensive rebound, Miller. Out to Armendariz. Easy bucket in the paint. Nice heads-up play from Miller, the point guard in the post. 4-point lead for LaSalle. Nice pass inside to Nyborg. Here's Amy Hayford, short, rebounded by MASCIANTONIO. Pass inside to Bolden, a lot of contact and a foul called against Donaldson. It's just her first, no foul trouble for her.
Fouls on 3. Taylor Donaldson, her first.
Donaldson with 9 points,
Rose
as well as 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals. She had 24 points in their win on Wednesday against St. Bonaventure. Inbound to Melius. Melius. Bounce pass. Stolen away by Fordham. McGurk. Former Penn Quaker misses the jumper. Rebound Melius. Handoff, Bolden. Missed. Armendariz nearly kept that alive. It would have gone out of bounds anyway. As Matilda Flood comes in for Davis. So under a minute left in this third quarter, LaSalle leading by 4. Fordham has not scored in nearly 2.5 minutes of action. I believe since the media timeout. And that's taken by LaSalle. Excuse me, Fordham does have 2 points since the media timeout. About 5 seconds separate shot and game clocks. LaSalle will attempt to hope for the final shot of the quarter. Fordham does have 1 foul to give. And you see this pressure from Matilda Flood on Michaela Miller. And there is a foul on Flood. Her first. Fordham cannot foul now without sending LaSalle to the bonus and to the free throw line. Inbound to Melius. Explorers will hope for 1 final shot this quarter. Melius double teamed. 3 on the clock. Melius gets it up. And that will end the third quarter. 46-42. LaSalle. They do have other players that typically get some minutes. But besides Fiona Connolly, none of them have stepped foot on the court today. Heads up play there from Donaldson to throw that off MASCIANTONIO. McGurk. Flood. Inside. The reverse and the bucket for Rose Nelson. Surprised Fordham hasn't tried to do more in the interior with Nelson, Nyborg, and Lee, who's still getting back into form after being injured from November 20th, made a return on Wednesday. Here's a corner three from Michaela Miller. LaSalle leads 49-44. Looking for their first A10 win of the season. Knocked away, it'll stay with Fordham. Taya Davis will come back in for Mandy McGurk, the Penn transfer. LaSalle with one front court player getting any action today. I'm surprised they haven't tried to get down low some more. Offensive rebound, Nelson kicks it out. Donaldson, extra pass, Hayford, short. Rebound, Melius. Double teamed, lost it. Fordham has it. Flood will slow it down, and the Rams will reset a half-court offense. Davis. Pass inside. Foul and one. Huge play for Matilda Flood. Foul called on Melius. That's her first. And Fordham finding success in the post, where LaSalle is thin. So Flood at the line to make this a three-point play, and she does. Her first points of the game. Full court press on here for the Rams. Bolden, Tejada was open inside. Instead, LaSalle will slow this down. They lead by 2. MASCIANTONIO again open for 3. Off the rim. Couldn't get the friendly bounce. Count that. And one for Tiara Bolden. Huge play off the offensive rebound for Bolden. And that's the third foul on Amy Hayford. Bolden to make this a three-point play. This has been an incredibly close game throughout. Offensive rebound, Tejada. Knocked away and stolen by Taya Davis. Neither team is led by more than 7. And it's now a one-possession ball game. 51-49. Tejada gets trapped. And a timeout called by Mountain McGillivray. That becomes a media timeout. We will take a break. 7:13 left in regulation. LaSalle leading by just one possession. Stay with us. Seven 13 left in regulation. LaSalle looking for their first A10 win of the season and their first win since November. Okay, by beating St. Bonaventure on Wednesday. Out of the timeout, LaSalle leading 51-49. I'm Corey Cohen with you live on ESPN+. Catch and shoot from Armendariz. No. Rebound for Donaldson, won right back by Miller. Tejada. Drives, poked away by Amy Hayford. Nice defense from the Pitt transfer. The drive, Hayford, bounce pass. Nelson inside, no. MASCIANTONIO has it. Again, LaSalle thin in the front court. Tejada, the only front court player who has played today for the Explorers. Fordham has 4 players at least an inch taller than Tejada. There's a foul called. It's on Davis. Or excuse me, it's an offensive foul. It's on Tejada, and it is her 4th foul. So this is going to be interesting. Melius comes in for Tejada. There is currently no front court player. 5 guards out there for LaSalle. Armendariz tasked with guarding 6'3" Miranda Nyborg. The drive off the rim. Rebounded by Armendariz. Teams have gone cold from outside. LaSalle 1 for their last 7 threes. Fordham's made 1 of their last 9 three-point attempts. Masciantonio, Armendariz. Back to Masciantonio. Good D here from the Rams. Masciantonio heaves it up. It touched the rim, though, and an offensive board for Bolden. Armendariz misses the 3. Rebound for Armendariz. Here's Melius. She's not going to miss from out there. The all-time leader in New York City high school basketball scoring brings this to a 5-point game, and a timeout is taken by Fordham head coach Bridget Mitchell. LaSalle leading 54-49 after the 3 from Melius against her hometown team. We'll take a quick break. Media timeout here in Philadelphia.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. Don't miss a beat with plans as low as $0 per month. We have the strongest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. You'll also get 24/7 telemedicine visits and coverage for hospital stays, prescriptions, and behavioral health. You can even earn cash rewards for your healthy habits. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call 1-844-203-2558. You can count on Independence Blue Cross.
When you vacation in Montgomery County, PA, your money worries get a vacation too.
Oh, you gotta get your value.
Feel free to explore the soldiers' huts.
Free?
$4, that's it? Keep the lettuce coming, Diane.
Parking is free!
Hey, it's free!
With so many affordable things in Montgomery County, go ahead. Freak out.
Dear University of... Thank you for your offer.
To become student ID number 283471.
While I appreciate your desire,
For my impeccable academic record,
I must decline the opportunity to get a generic degree.
I've decided to tell my story.
To be a student.
Not a statistic.
I wish you good luck in the future.
As I embark on mine.
Fourth quarter here. LaSalle leading Fordham 54-49 here in Philadelphia. Always like to look at the Atlantic 10 around the conference. St. Louis defeated UMass by 4. Rhode Island took down St. Bonaventure. Rhodey is looking incredible this year. St. Joe's in a close battle right now with Richmond. The Hawks have been excellent this season. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top there. And Dayton beat Loyola Chicago. That is around the A10. And again, in men's basketball, these two programs played each other earlier today in the Bronx. LaSalle beat Fordham 81-76. So congrats to the Explorers men's basketball team. Always like to talk about alumni at different schools when they come to visit Philly. Some famous Fordham alums include Denzel Washington, Alan Alda, Regina Hall, Patricia Clarkson, Susan Lucci. Some incredible actors in there, as well as singer Lana Del Rey, and some excellent sportscasters. There's a bucket inside from Hayford. Sportscasters such as voice of the NBA on ESPN, Mike Breen, as well as Spiro Ditas, and of course the legend Dodgers announcer Vin Scully. All came out of Fordham. And of course Vince Lombardi. Eagles hoping to hoist the Lombardi Trophy later this calendar year. Shot clock down to 3. Melius put it up, didn't come close. Not many schools are going to have, especially schools that aren't designated performing arts conservatories, you're not going to have much better roster of alumni than Denzel Washington, Alan Alda, Regina Hall, Patricia Clarkson, and Susan Lucci. It's a murderer's row of acting, to borrow from the New York Yankees. Foul called on MASCIANTONIO. That's her first.
MASCIANTONIO, her first. Team's third.
Donaldson comes in for Davis. Donaldson, 11 points today for the leading scorer in the Atlantic 10. Bounce pass into Nelson, stolen away. MASCIANTONIO will look to slow it down. Just over 4 minutes left in regulation. Bolden. The drive, some contact. Bolden, jumper, count it! 8 points for Tiara Bolden. 56-51 lead for LaSalle. Donaldson, and there was some space inside. Nelson did not drive. Out to Donaldson. That's a short angle. Armendariz has it, now Miller. MASCIANTONIO brings it up. 3:15 left in regulation. 5-point lead for the Explorers. MASCIANTONIO's been phenomenal today. 17 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, just 1 turnover, as there's a foul called on Mandy McGurk, grad transfer. Grew up in Westchester, PA, went to high school in Radnor, PA. His first team All-Delco. Spent 4 years playing at Penn before transferring to Fordham. LaSalle looking to hang on. They have not won a game since November 21st. MASCIANTONIO double-teamed. Gets out of it, finds Armendariz. Miller was open. Armendariz still has it. 2 on the clock, gets it up, and scores! The bank is open on Saturday. They're going to take a look at this to see if she got it off in time. What a play for Jolene Armendariz, the grad transfer from San Francisco State. Could be a huge 2 points for the LaSalle Explorers as they take a look at this one. Tough to tell. Let's see if we can tell here. Can't quite see from the high angle what the shot clock was. But the refs are taking a look at it now. LaSalle picked to finish 12th in the Atlantic 10 of the 15 teams. 7 of their top 8 scorers from last year are gone. It's a tough non-conference schedule, a tough start, and they will say no basket. It was a shot clock violation. Armendariz did not get it off in time. So Flood inbounds to Davis. It is 56-51. There's a drive. Offensive board. Put back Nelson. That's out of bounds. Full court pressure is on from Fordham. They've gone about 2.5 minutes without a point. When points are at a premium. They've got to get this past half court. Armendariz, Miller, 22 seconds. She does not get there. Miller realized it too late. Got the ball with 22 seconds. Or Armendariz and Miller realized it too late. Miller got the ball with 22 seconds when she started sprinting forward. And that misses from Donaldson. Stripped on her second attempt. And a frustration foul there from Donaldson. And a technical foul called on Taylor Donaldson. The ref went over to her and said, don't do that, after what was clearly a frustration foul on Donaldson's part. She got blocked on her second attempt at the shot. And then went right back, just tried to grab the ball. It's clearly a foul. Donaldson frustrated. And when the ref went up to her and said, don't do that, Donaldson said something to warn a technical foul called by the official. The officials in this game, Whitney Armstrong, Paolo Trujillo, and David Troyan. So Melius at the line to shoot the free throws off the technical foul called on Donaldson. And she makes them both. Nicely done by Melius, the 80% free throw shooter. And that leads us into a timeout, I believe. Or the refs, it might just be an official timeout with the refs conferring. And we're going to try to get a little clarification on what exactly is happening here as the refs head over to the monitors. So 2:06 left in regulation, 58-51 lead for LaSalle after the two free throws off the technical foul from Nicole Melius. So we're going to get an explanation here. So I believe you heard it, replay for an unobserved potential foul. So we'll see what they come up with here. Fordham again without the top players from last season. Asia Dingle, over 19 points per game, graduated. Caitlin Downey with over 10 points per game and almost 8 rebounds per game, graduated. Anna DeWolf, one of the best players in Fordham history, with over 18 points per game. Third most points in Fordham history, and three-time first-team Atlantic 10 player, Anna DeWolf, transferred to Notre Dame. So this Fordham team has had to rebuild under first-year head coach Bridget Mitchell, the reigning CAA Coach of the Year from when she was at Northeastern, and a native of Trenton, New Jersey. LaSalle, of course, led by sixth-year head coach Mountain McGillivray, Philly native, Temple grad. His assistant staff, associate head coach Chris Day, and assistant coaches Boo Abshire and Jaron Reese. We'll have a courtside interview following the game, immediately following the final whistle. We'll be joined courtside. And so 2:06. So no foul. Fordham will inbound. Or excuse me, LaSalle will inbound.
Official review revealed no foul. Fordham loses a timeout. LaSalle ball.
So Fordham loses a timeout. Inbound here from Bolden, who finds Masciantonio. LaSalle looking for their first win since November 21st. 2 minutes left in regulation. Explorers holding on to a 58-51 lead. They have held the Rams scoreless in over 3 minutes. Draining this shot clock down. Bolden out to Armendariz. Miller, can she do it again? Off the side of the backboard. Corralled by Flood. Flood looking to go coast to coast, misses. They might have rushed that a little bit. Remains 58-51. Fordham doesn't need to be in a hurry, but they need points. They need efficiency. It's been 3.5 minutes without a point for the Rams. And a 30-second timeout called by Mountain McGillivray. Looking for their first Atlantic 10 win of this season. They lost to George Mason 74-37, what was a tough game on the road in Fairfax. And they lost to Davidson here on Tuesday, 69-50, but they had a solid effort in that one, changing their offensive style to try to slow down the Wildcats. Helped limit Davidson to 69 points. This LaSalle defense certainly taking a huge step up. On average, they've allowed 74.8 points per game this year. They've currently held Fordham to 51. And there's a foul called. And that will put LaSalle into the bonus and at the free throw line. Meanwhile, as we see Miller head to the line to shoot 2, that is the 4th personal foul on Taylor Donaldson. It has been a relatively quiet afternoon for Donaldson, the leading scorer in the Atlantic 10, averages just under 19 points per game. She has 11. She does have 3 big steals. But Donaldson scored 24 points in their win on Wednesday, has 11 today. Miscommunication! Kept alive by Amy Hayford. Donaldson nearly crashed into me on this near side scores table. The drive, big bucket from Amy Hayford, the Dutch international, who spent 4 years playing for Pitt. Foul called on Fordham, and that will send the Explorers back to the line. And that is Hayford's 4th. So MASCIANTONIO will head to the free throw line to shoot 2 with LaSalle in the bonus. Tejada back in. She's got 4 fouls. 2 players for the Rams have 4 fouls, Donaldson and Hayford. MASCIANTONIO makes the first. Makes the second. And a timeout called by head coach Bridget Mitchell over on the Fordham sideline. It's 30-second timeout. We will keep it here. This could be a huge victory for the LaSalle Explorers. Looking for their first win since late November. December was a rough month for LaSalle, looking to turn it around now. Meanwhile, MASCIANTONIO, with that trip to the free throw line, has now set a Division I personal best in scoring with 19 points. She set it her personal best on Tuesday against Davidson with 17 points. She's now up to 19. Does not look like she will get her overall career high of 25. That was when she played for D2 Holy Family. That's off the rim. Rebound, Bolden! And at this point, Fordham, if they can't force a turnover, they have to foul, and they do. 61-53 lead for LaSalle.
Fouls on 10, Rose Nelson, her 3rd. Michaela Miller heads to the line, shooting 2.
So Miller at the line to shoot 2. Makes the first. And the second. Clutch free throws there. Miller up to 11 points, 5 steals for the grad transfer out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Knocked away by Masciantonio, still with Fordham. They're down 10. Taken by Armendariz. And that has been the story of the game. The Fordham Rams that lead the Atlantic 10 in steals have been outdone by the Explorers in that very category. 15 steals for LaSalle today, 12 for Fordham. LaSalle's been excellent defensively. Armendariz now at the line to shoot 2. And it is a an 11-point lead now for LaSalle. Armendariz misses the second. Here's a 3 taken by Hayford, off target. Bolden corrals it. And Fordham fouls one more time, but it will not matter. LaSalle is going to get their first win since November 21st. It's their first Atlantic 10 win of the season. Masciantonio misses that free throw. She's looking to get to 20 points for the first time in her D1 career. Misses them both, so she will be stranded at 19 points. Still a D1 career high for Molly Masciantonio, player of the game without a doubt. Rebound Tejada, and LaSalle gets their first victory in the Atlantic 10 this season, and their first victory since November 21st. Big win against Fordham, 64-53, the final score here in Philadelphia. The Fordham Rams fall to 6-9 overall, 1-3 in the Atlantic 10. LaSalle advances to 4-10 overall, 1-2 in the A10. And in just a few moments, we will be joined by an assistant coach here, Emily Tejada, celebrating with her team at midcourt right now. The Explorers needed this win as we take a look at some highlights from the game. They certainly needed this get-right game after playing 2 of the toughest teams in the conference. There is a 3 for Masciantonio. Absolutely sensational performance in this game. We're going to have Associate Head Coach Chris Day joining us in just a moment. After LaSalle gets the victory, 64-53. And we are joined by Associate Head Coach Chris Day. Okay. Just 1 second, actually. Apologies.
There you go.
There we go. Associate Head Coach Chris Day, congratulations on the victory. It was a big win. One of the stories of the game, coming into this, Fordham was first in the conference in steals, 3rd in forced turnovers. In both categories, you outdid them. More steals, more forced turnovers. How did you win that battle? If you want, we got live stats here.
I got my glasses on.
Talking about, the performance on defense, forcing turnovers, getting steals. Huge defensive performance. What went into that?
Well, here's the difference, right? It's that we, with Molly, who's, I think I checked him, was 6th in the conference in steals. Michaela's maybe like 11th. So we do have 2 kids in the top 20, right? And for us, those kids in the top 20, we don't even trap and press like crazy.
Right.
That's what they do. Full court, half court, they create so much havoc with their athleticism. And then for us to alleviate some of those turnovers, all we did was spend time on breaking their press. So half of our practices was working on the press break, and it showed, and we showed some poise and broke it and got some buckets.
Yeah, certainly held on to the ball, and the defense phenomenal across the board. Molly Masciantonio, one of her career best games today, set a Division I high in points with 19, 6 assists to 1 turnover. She had 5 rebounds and 3 steals. what more can be said about Molly Masciantonio and how she stepped up in all aspects of her game?
She should have made the last 2 free throws.
Yeah, I think she wanted them too.
Yeah, I wanted her to get 20. She's a 6-year kid, Corey. I mean, that's what we need from her. You know, and the talk in the summer with Molly was her scoring situation and what she needs to do from that standpoint. You know, because we had so much scoring last year with the Jacobs and Charity and everybody else. Yeah, Kayla Spruill, of course. I mean, my goodness, she knew who to pass it to. But we don't have them. And she needs to now be a scorer like she was at Holy Family, like she was in high school. And now I had a little coming to Jesus with her with some choice words. And it was good for her to see her respond because she is responding. I think she had double digits the last couple games.
Yeah, 17 points the other night, 19 tonight.
There you go. So she's responding.
Absolutely incredible.
Yep.
Congratulations, big victory here today.
Lord knows we need it. So thank you, Corey.
Thank you. Associate Head Coach Chris Day, thanks so much for joining us. Big victory for the LaSalle Explorers. First A-10 win of the season, 64-53 over the Fordham Rams. LaSalle will be back in action on Wednesday at St. Bonaventure, and then we will be back here on Saturday at 3 p.m. LaSalle versus UMass. We'll have that game for you on ESPN+. Until next time, we want to thank you all so much for joining us. For our entire crew here at Tom Gola Arena, for our producer extraordinaire, Caleb Flieger, I am Corey Cohen, signing off from Philadelphia.